What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be doing a review on my 1997 Toyota 4Runner SR5. So this is my personal vehicle. I'll start out by walking around it here. So this is finished in natural white. It was a color available on the third gens here throughout the entire model year range. It is a single stage paint, so there's no clear coat, which is really nice. Pretty bland color, but you know, it works with the theme I have going, the black and white here. So the Toyota 4Runner was the successor to the Toyota Trekker, with the first model year starting in 1984. This is of course the third generation, which went from 96 to 02. And when you think of the 4Runner, this has widely been regarded, the third generation, as the best 4Runner generation. So when you think of a 4Runner, you're probably going to think of the third gen here. You know, of course the design, forgive me, I'm like popular all of a sudden here, but the design and styling of these things is, you know, pretty good looking in my opinion at least. Just nice and rugged, especially with some nice off-road tires and a lift. Just has a really good look to it. So coming around to the front, they didn't really make many facelifts or changes throughout the third generation model year. The headlights just kind of stayed like this, just flush with the front there. They have the amber parking lights here. Personally not a fan of those. And then the blinkers are down in the bumper. So around 99, one of the biggest cosmetic changes that they made was the fat lip bumper. You know, I personally don't think it looks as good as the earlier years, but that might vary from people. So the 16-inch aluminum wheels were standard on these. It's like what you'll find on the Tacomas of the same years. It's just a 6-spoke design, pretty basic, but it does look pretty good, especially when you black it out. You do have a locking gas cap, which can be unlocked from the interior. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's an 18.5 gallon fuel tank. So coming to the back, I think that this is a really good angle. Just the taillight design and everything of the back of these third gens, I do really think it looks pretty good. The chrome bumper is the only chrome bit left on this thing. Not a fan of that. I don't really have the money to replace it though, so it's gonna have to stay. So up top you do have the little wind visor for the taillight and the window fluid pump in there. It matches in with the black and white theme going on. Got a single exit exhaust. You can see the chip guards starting to get brown on both sides. Looks pretty bad. So the antenna was retractable at some point. I believe it broke, so the last owner just kind of stuck it to make it stay up. And it works, just not all that well anymore. We've got the key here, just a pretty basic one with the Toyota logo on it. Let's go ahead and move on to the inside. So the interior on this thing is pretty basic. There's still plenty of good materials throughout the interior though. Starting on the door panels, you got this really nice soft cloth up on the side here, and then on the armrest, really nice to the touch. You have this pretty soft touch plastic here, feels pretty nice. And then this vinyl stuff that's really soft, feels great. You do have power windows, power locks, power mirrors, power steering of course. You do have manual seat controls though. Door handles right here. Little storage in the door here, and then a couple speakers. So getting inside, you do have a grab handle right here. You do have a leather dash, feels really nice to the touch, feels really high quality. Have a nice big steering wheel, just a nice soft material. I do have a steering cover on mine for my big hands. I do just have the standard 2-spoke design on these older Toyotas. Here's the horn. Got the light and blinker switch over here, wiper switch here, cruise control right here. So in the gauge cluster, we have the temperature gauge, the tachometer, speedometer with the trip odometer and odometer, and the fuel gauge over there. Got some switches over here, fuse box here, gas cap release, hood latch release, little AC vent down here. I've heard it called the ball chiller. It's a really nice one, especially for us guys. Little gauge cluster brightening thing here. It is a tilting steering wheel, not a telescoping. So coming to the center here, you've got rear defrost, the hazards, digital clock, AC vents there, dual cup holders, AC controls all right here, still works good. Aftermarket Alpine head unit. Got a little storage here. Do have a CB radio in here. So all 1997 Toyotas did come factory with an eject button. Now it's just a cigarette lighter. Got a little storage down here in the bottom. Keep a little 1997 quarter in here. It's kind of cool. It's the same year as the 4Runner. In the middle, like I said, it is 4-wheel drive, just the auto locking hubs. Just stick it into 4 there. Works great. Get you anywhere pretty much. It's a 4-speed automatic transmission. I'll get into it later. So in the center, got a little more storage in the center console thing. Parking brake right here. This thing is not Holley equipped, just have stickers. Got the awesome Toyota rear window, towing power right there. So in the center console, it is a pretty small one, like my hand will fit over it, but it does go down in there pretty deep. So you can fit quite a bit of stuff. You can see mine's broken up here. So going over to the glove box, it is lockable. It does fit quite a bit of stuff in it. Like I said with the seats, they are just manual seats and they're not the most comfortable. I mean, they'll get you around town and on shorter drives and stuff and you'll be fine, but once you get on long drives, it can get really uncomfortable. Because I mean, they do have good bolstering and they do hold you in pretty well, but there's just no creature comforts with them. The only creature comfort you get is on the driver's seat. You get this little lumbar support bar and that's it. So up top, we got the driver's visor, no mirror. Passenger one does have a mirror on it. Got a card holder up here. Got the sunroof. I love it. It works great still, doesn't leak. Dome lights here. Manual dimming rear view mirror. Sorry if the exposure's kind of bad. Got a dome light back here too. So again, the same door panel design over there on the other side. So now let's go ahead and jump into the back. So come into the back seat, you just have the same door panel design again, little storage on the bottom. Getting inside, it is pretty tight back here. I mean, I'm 6'2" and I'm nearly touching the seat in front of me. I just don't have much room. That does, of course, trade off with the trunk space. There's a ton of it back there. They just did not make much rear passenger room. So again, on long trips, this would just get really tight. The seats are a little more comfortable back here than in the front, but still not enough to make a long trip nice. You do have a middle seat there. Definitely hard to fit anybody there comfortably, but that's okay. Headroom, again, is not a strong point. I mean, I have headroom here, but as you can see, I could use some more because it does like dip back down from the trunk right here for some reason. But in the front in front of me, I've got a couple storage nets here. Got dual cup holders, little ashtray, AC vent or just air vent for the hot air or something, whatever this is supposed to adjust. So that's pretty much a look at the back seat here. Got a couple grab handles. So now let's go ahead and jump into the trunk. So coming into the trunk here, you just have struts to lift up the trunk lid there. You do have a ton of space back here. I mean, that, like I said, is the trade-off for the small rear seat room, is the trunk space. This is a mid-size SUV, the 3rd gen is. So, it is a pretty cramped interior, just smaller truck in general, but they did really give you a ton of room back here to do whatever you need. I mean, you got little places to tie down your loads, stuff like that, so you can fit anything you need back here. I have a tarp because my carpet's in such good condition, and I don't want my dog to tear it up. But yeah, I mean, you just could do anything you need back here, really. Got another dome light. Then right here, you got a little storage pocket on the side. Keep the winch cable and stuff in there. But yeah, like I said, ton of room back there. So now that we've looked at the inside and outside, let's go ahead and pop the hood, look at the engine. So the 3rd gen 4Runner was available with 2 engine options, a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder and this 3.4 liter V6. This is known as the 5VZ FE, of course. You'll find it in a lot of little 90s Toyota trucks and stuff like that. It's a great engine. It's basically bulletproof. Mine has 177,000 miles on it and it still runs great. These things will last forever. It did have the valve cover gasket leaks, which we of course got fixed, and it's running great. We do run Shell Rotella 15W40 in it. It's great oil. But yeah, that's pretty much overview of it. It's hooked up to a 4-speed automatic transmission in this one. So the 4-speed was a option. Standard was a 5-speed manual, which I personally would have preferred, but that's okay. It works good. Just got this long bent stick for the shifter, find on a lot of 90s Japanese cars, the overdrive button on it there. But like I said, it's a 4-speed. It doesn't really want to shift on cold mornings sometimes, but I believe it's original still and still works good. I believe it's coded as their A340F, if I'm not wrong. It'd be the same as the Tacoma. But there's that. So now that we've looked at pretty much everything here, this would be the point in all my other videos that I would tell you all the aftermarket things done to it. But I do have like a 10-minute long video going over everything done to it. So go check that out if you want to know everything. So that'll pretty much wrap up me talking here. Let's go ahead and get into these sound clips and take it for a test drive. This is about a quarter-mile stretch. I take all the cars that I review, I take them to this stretch here, go wide open throttle with them, see how fast I can hit. So the 4Runner, as expected, is the slowest. I hit about 75 miles an hour when I passed the camera there. So there's that. I'll put a little clip at the end to show how it stacks up against the other cars that I've reviewed. And of course I'm going to continue doing this with all the cars that I review in the future. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get up to speed on this road right here.
Later.
Okay, that's 50 miles an hour right there. So, you know, it's not quick at all. It has to lug around quite a bit of weight, and you know, that engine isn't very powerful. You know, it's loud, slow, and you know, it doesn't handle well at all. It is my daily driver, and I like it a lot. It is not really sounding narcissistic, but it's nice when you sit high above the other cars. And it's really easy to drive. The power steering feels really good. It's not like too light or too heavy. It's a pretty good little balance in between. It doesn't really brake very well at all. It just has so much extra weight. The brakes just can't keep up with it. I've been kind of close to rear-ending people before just because it does not want to stop. And I don't even know if the parking brake still works because I've driven around like an idiot with it on for a while. So it probably doesn't even work. So it's just kind of relying on the front brakes. So, I mean, personally, I think it sounds pretty good with that Flowmaster on there. That's probably something that'll be kind of, you know, a varied opinion because it's a V6 with a muffler on it, but I think it sounds a lot better than most V6 engines. So as you can hear, it doesn't make too terribly much noise. I mean, I'm almost going 60 here, and if you're not on the throttle, then you don't have much exhaust noise. The tires aren't really that loud like they're not nearly as loud as you'd expect them to be. And then you have some wind noise, like the roof rack you would think would give off a lot of wind noise, but it really doesn't. The gas mileage is terrible. I don't even know what the stock rating is, if it's like 17, 22 or something like that. But with, you know, the lift, big tires and everything, it's terrible. So I'm going through fuel all the time, like super fast. Steering wheel's a nice size. It's not too big or too small. It's real easy to grip onto. Feels really